Let's take a look at how the pose tools work here in Mudbox. They're very quick and easy to work with. You'll see you have a pose tool tray on the bottom. Now once again, I'm using the 2011 Subscription Advantage pack, so things will look a little bit different. If you're using 2011, you can do completely what I'm doing here, same process, you just don't have as many options. So something to note with the pose tools here in the 2011 Subscription Advantage pack and versions forward, for example, the next release, Mudbox 2012, which is probably something you'll be able to download and demo shortly. You can grab that version off the Autodesk site and use the same features that I'm showing here. So quickly, how pose tools are working. I know I covered it basically when we start to use pose tools as a sculpting tool to scale this limb up. The best practice to do is create a new layer. I've stepped down to level 3 on this guy. Obviously, the lower the resolution, the geometry, the faster you're going to be able to pose and move and deform him. You can certainly do it at the higher reses, it's just that you're working with much more geometry at that point. So I'm down to level 3, about 166,000 polygons. I've created a new layer here, and what I'm going to do is drop down a joint, and what you're going to see when you first drop down a joint here is you put the little ball in the middle. You're going to get this little, you just keep holding it down, and you're dialing it around, you're kind of spinning around. The little loop is giving you the direction or what it's going to encompass. The arrow is the direction of what it's going to grab or weight. And the further you pull that arrow represents the amount of fall off. So if you want a tight fall off, bring that arrow in tight towards the little ball joint there. If you want a large fall off, then pull it out quite far. Once you let go of that, you're going to see a green highlighted area to represent what you're actually about to pose or deform. A couple of the other tools here, we have a move pivot tool which does just that. Grab your joint, you can move it around. You can place this more towards the hips. And then you could use the weighting tool here to paint in some weights to blend up to those hips there, or to subtract weights, or to smooth weights as well. Same keys, control and shift. Control for the inverse, shift for smoothing will work as well with the weight tools here. So if we grab the pose tool, what happens is if I grab the actual joint, you'll see if I hover over top or away from it, you'll get different balloon tips that pop up. So right over top, it's going to tell you use the left button to rotate it, middle mouse button to scale. So on my tablet here, I'm using on the pen, if I just grab this joint and start to pull it back and forth, I'm pulling it back and forth in the viewport here. And that's fine, I can do that, I can spin this the same way. And I'm working directly locally with that joint. If I move off the joint, I can work with it away from the joint as well. So I could actually use my viewport as a way to position things in there as well. So for example, if I wanted to work in this direction here, I can grab the joint here and move it back and forth in the viewport there. I can twist it around, or I can come out here and start to pull that back and forth there. So while we're on this, a couple of other things with the Create Joint tool. You'll see in Subscription Advantage Pack, 2011 Subscription Advantage Pack, and versions forward, you'll have these options. 2011 basic version, you do not have these options in here. But with this, one joint at a time, if I have that selected, I'm only working with one joint at a time creation. If I don't have it selected, I can actually work with multiple joints. So I can go in and grab another area on here. Let's just put one down in here. And you'll see that it's created a bone in there. We have a little joint in there now. And we can go back and forth with our pose tools and select the joints we want to work with. So you can effectively build an entire skeleton here to work with the pose tools. As well with the Create Joint, you'll see that we have a mirroring function, so you can turn mirroring on and start to create, and it will mirror the joints across to the other side of these legs or these arms, for example. And that's a really powerful way to quickly create things. If we jump into the object list, you'll see when you create joints, you're creating a skeleton node here. You can expand that and see all the joints that you're created, much like you would in Softimage, Max, or Maya, or any other package where you can see the joint hierarchy. So a couple of things in there. In Mudbox 2011, you'll see the skeleton in the object list. 2011 Subscription Advantage Pack and versions forward. If you click on skeleton, there's a really powerful little tool set in here that allows you to store poses. So you can store pose presets on there, which is great. You can store some presets right on the skeleton, keep working with them, come back and pose more and update that pose. You can store new poses, delete them of course, rename them to different things. And this works with skeletons you create or existing weighted skeletons that exist in an FBX format. You can bring them in from another package and certainly create pose presets from there.